Hi, and welcome to Dopey Fix It. Let's see what kind of project we have today.
This is Dopey Fix It. These aren't pro tips, they're amateur tips. They're for people with no experience whatsoever, like me. Join me as I figure out how to do the little fix-its that my home needs, and maybe yours does too.
Alright, today we've got this bedroom drawer here. In the move, it's got some damage. You can see right through, there's some light through the crack there. The back is not solid seated in there. You don't want to leave this. You don't want to put too much crap in there, because when the drawer is doing this, when it's flexing, it could totally come out and then you're left with a drawer that doesn't work anymore. So we're going to fix this up. Now, fixing a broken drawer is pretty easy. All you really need to do is make sure that this board goes in this groove, and then the back gets solidly sort of pulled against it. Now you can see down here, what they did was sort of cheap construction. They stapled it together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of wood glue into this back crevice. Now the problem with doing that is you put the wood glue in there, you get this the board here up into the groove, but you have to make sure that the groove is held sort of tight against the board when you do it. One of the challenges we have is, if we put glue in there and we need to hold this closed, we could be standing here for a while when we do that. So probably the best thing to do is, sort of figure out a way to hold it together. Now what I'm going to use is a bar clamp. Now check this out. Now this is a bar clamp. With this thing, sort of put it across here and you clamp the whole thing together to hold it in place. Now, I'm not generally here to endorse brands or give anybody the idea that I'm selling anything. This is just home tips. This happens to be what I use. I love Gorilla Glue. Find that most of their products, when they adhere super well and forever. The only issue that I have with Gorilla Glue and sometimes is it does tend to expand. So what I want to do with the Gorilla Glue when I put it into this groove here is not put as much as I would necessarily put in with glue that was known not to expand so much or that even contracted. Gorilla Glue really just, it sort of blows up and binds. So I don't want that much glue in this little groove. Another tip I have is using Q-tips. Now, I don't necessarily want to try to squirt from that bottle that you saw of the Gorilla Glue right into that hole. I mean, it's going to be really hard to control how much gets in there. I keep a box of 500 Q-tips just handy at all times, because you just never know when you're going to need a tiny little sponge or you're going to need to tuck something in somewhere. Having them around is really, really handy. So I'm going to use these Q-tips to apply the glue into the groove. So there, I got it all glued up. I got the bottom of the drawer is into that little groove in the back. And you can kind of see down here along the edge what I've done is, I've got the glue in there poked in with a Q-tip. And then along here I just took the Q-tip after I put the board in and ran got the excess off just by running the Q-tip along. You can kind of see it makes a nice little line. As the Gorilla Glue expands, that's probably going to get to be a little bit of a bead, but I think that's probably the best looking we're going to get. Also, this is the back of a dresser. No one is ever going to look here. Here's how the bar clamp has gone on. You use this thing, snug it up against, leave a little bit of slack in this, snug it up against there, and just pull it tight. Now in this case, because you're on a kind of a flexible thing, you don't want to crank this thing until it stops. You'll end up breaking the back board. You can see there's kind of a bend here as it's being pulled in. I got it snug, but I didn't really pull it very far. It's not under heavy tension. I think that we are done, and all we have to do is take off the bar and it'll be all good. Well, that worked out okay. Now it's on to the next project.
Done, on to the next one, done, and I'm on to the next